Welcome back. And today I'm going to go over housing crash in Florida, specifically on the Gulf Coast, Southwest Florida, in light of the recent uh, Hurricane Helene and Milton. Is it fact or fiction? So let's dive in. This information comes from a very credible housing source, Housing Wire. The headline is, how has Tampa's housing market fared since Hurricane Milton? Tampa Metro is the largest metro in the Gulf Coast in the western region of Florida. So the information I'm going to share with you is pretty much similar. If you go down like an hour to 30 minutes to 1 hour along the Gulf Coast below Tampa Metro, for example, in Cape Coral and Port Charlotte and Punta Gorda, it's pretty much similar. So again, the data I'm sharing with you is pretty much across the board, similar data with the other housing markets along the Florida Gulf Coast in light of the very devastating hurricane. So the key metrics took a nosedive the week that Milton hit, but they snapped back just as quickly. There's a lot of YouTubers out there, social media, for the sake of a clickbait, they report the doom and gloom scenario of Florida. I'm not saying everything is rosy out there in this market, but Florida long term has done very, very well. It's one of the fastest growing states for many years running, top 2 or 3 year over year for many decades. Not only that, personally, I have invested, I have bought multiple rental properties in the past 20 years in Florida. Boots on the ground, people that we know, the market that we are still selling rental properties in very good strategic locations. They know what's going on. So I know from a high level, I have a confidence on Florida. And yet Florida is going through some challenges, right? It all depends what location, what zip code, what areas are affected by this recent hurricane situation. It is hard to imagine something more disruptive to our housing market than a hurricane. Let's go over the Tampa Metro, which is very huge. During the week of the hurricane, before and after, as you can see, everything just completely slowed down. Obviously, in this metro, sellers took their homes off the market and real estate agents put their business interests aside, and many reported helping their clients board up their homes and ensure they were prepared for the aftermath of the hurricane. So, yeah, pray for people who got adversely affected by the hurricane. There's a lot of devastation. There's a human loss of life. So let's pray they will recover. With that said, how has the housing market fared since the hurricane has passed? Data from Alto's research shows a dramatic pause for Tampa area markets before the hurricane struck, and even more dramatic return after it was over. The most eye-popping data before new listings. The week of the hurricane, new listings fell by about 80% in 5 major cities in the metro area: Tampa, Clearwater, Largo, Brandon, Riverview. Clearwater lost 81% of its listings, the highest rate among the 5 cities. Again, there's another major areas in below Tampa, like 30, 40, 50 miles below, which is, again, Lee County, Collier County, Cape Coral, Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, and a few other places along the coastal area. They show kind of similar data. If you want me to report similar housing data, like I'm down there as I'm reporting now in the Tampa Bay area, please leave a comment below, and I will more than happy to create another video to go over the southern portion of the Gulf Coast, Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, and the surrounding area, Fort Myers and Port Charlotte and Lehigh Acres and Punta Gorda, what have you. All right. So let's continue. Tampa area, pending new home sales week over week. As you can see, it's pretty obvious that all activities have stopped during the Hurricane Helene as well, right? And then, of course, the recent Milton hurricane. Everything stopped. Then after the hurricane, of course, things are slowly coming back to normal among all these kind of cities. As I mentioned, there's a huge drop in pending home sales during the devastation. That's pretty obvious, right? The volatility in new listings, however, didn't have the same dramatic or immediate impact on overall listings. It took longer for the market to recover. Inventory fell modestly in the 2 weeks after Milton, but began to rise at a healthy clip by the end of November. And home prices were practically unchanged by the hurricane. Now, this is the biggest takeaway. Look, the doom and gloomers out there, they are reporting all the devastation, housing crash, come down by 50%, whatever. Or look, they are just clickbait social media information out there that are promoted by those doomers, housing crash bros out there. But this is the biggest takeaway for me in the aftermath of what's going on in the coastal Florida. And the home prices were practically unchanged by the hurricane. So this means that the homes did not crash. Not only they did not crash, did not even go through a correction. Why? Again, it's beyond the scope of today's video. Why? Because Tampa Metro still a very desirable place to live. And there are more demand than there are supply in that market for various reasons. So it's a good sign that home prices has stabilized. Tampa Bay area inventory has homes for sale dip modestly, but they're coming back to normal. Still, the demand supply equilibrium in the Tampa Metro area kind of break even. Yes, there's still a lot of inventory for sale out there. It's a good opportunity for people that want to buy a primary home in the Southwest Florida. Our investors are still buying all the Florida in strategic locations, not too close to the coastal areas, of course. When we sell our rental properties to our investors, my team on the ground in Florida, we do new constructions and away from the flood zone, away from the coastal area, very affordable markets in the deep inland into Central Florida and other good locations. There's some challenges going to go on. However, migration is not as rampant as several years ago in Florida, for that matter. But still, Florida is a very resilient market. The locals and the people that live in Florida, they expect this kind of hurricane. The recent hurricane is much more dramatic than in recent past. My takeaway is, again, you have to look at the data, okay? Do more research and due diligence to determine whether some people want to continue live in Florida. I believe Florida is still a very good place to live and to invest as well. But this is just my opinion. So again, the takeaway is housing market did not crash as a result of the hurricane and Milton. Yes, people are affected by the higher insurance costs, at least along the coastal areas of Florida, and the condo market has it's going to crash, in my opinion. But the condos in Florida is a different asset class, right? It's very distinctly different than single family homes, even from neighborhood to neighborhood. So let me just get that out of the way. Yes, there's a lot of crisis going on in the condo market, but the reasons are very obvious. But other than that, the crystal ball, the future is pretty good for Florida. You have to do your research and buy newer construction. New construction, they meet safety standards. Don't buy a house in a flood zone, obviously, or too close to the coastal areas. Go inland, go to the emerging growth, the suburban growth away from the coastal areas. Buy in affordable markets. That's key. New construction, especially. All right. Hopefully you receive a lot of value from this video. If you have, please like and subscribe to my channel and also comment below. Let me share your thoughts. If you've been living in Florida for a long time, share with me whether my information is factual, accurate, and credible. And just share your thoughts, whether you are living there or whether you plan to move there or whether you plan to buy investment property in good Florida areas. Share with me your thoughts. I will be glad to answer your comments. And one final thing is, if you wish, you can put your email down at the bottom of my description, so you could subscribe to our investment network. So you can be a free member of our network community, so you can receive daily investment opportunities free into your email inbox, so you can educate and get informed about all aspects of real estate, not only in Florida, but in other parts of the country as well. Thank you so much for watching and listening. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.